gonna go home. I've my new thing is watching Solar Opposites on Netflix. It's a great cartoon.
It's a cartoon? I'm sorry.
I watch a lot of cartoons.
I'm that person. Although, did you ever watch Chicago Ant?
Did I watch it? Yes.
Oh,
I'm a huge fan.
And they're not bringing it back, but I
know.
love that show.
I love cartoons.
And the actress is, she's fantastic. She's one of the leads from Superstore, which I didn't realize. I love
And I can't think of her name right now.
And she was on Not Dead Yet, too, which was a limited series. It was only on for a few seasons on ABC.
Okay.
It was with Gina Rodriguez, who plays an obit writer.
Yes, I never saw that show. But
that I recommend that.
Okay,
too. Yes,
I will.
She's the...
but Chicago Ant was great. It was a lot of Chicago type stuff.
And
they did
raunchy.
They did one show at Roscoe's, and I think Roscoe's Bar played that episode. It was great.
That's amazing.
But no, I love cartoons because it's so wacky and stupid.
And what's this one? Solar
Opposites.
Solar Opposites.
It's a lot of, if you're into subliminal digs about politics and religion, you'll love it.
Excellent. Well, I think all of those are good things to follow.
Yeah.
I think let's start with today
locally.
Let's do it. Let's go with locally because I know that you have been involved in what some are calling the Whistle Brigade, or helping neighbors stay safe, alerting those who might be the targets of ICE agents. And today, Governor Pritzker announced that they were going to start a commission for gathering that information, a task force essentially, in order to maintain the evidence of crimes being committed by ICE agents
that we are aware of.
That we are aware, right? The ones that are visible, and I think that's a great idea to have a landing place.
I think it's a good starting point. I think that just from what I've heard, it is. I think it's only the tip of the iceberg. Let's just put it that way. I think when you give people with low IQs and high ambitions positions of power, you can't imagine the violations that are occurring. And I'm not going to take that back. I'm not going to apologize for it. But we've seen it over the years. When you give people with low IQs and high ambitions any kind of power, they run with it and they run amok.
And they think it's endless.
Yes.
Correct. One of my favorite images is out of New York City so far. I mean, we have our Chicago moments. We have, Portland with the frog.
Yes.
Chicago's a bit, because it's in the I think part of what is happening because it started with the Broadview Detention Center, which is not intended to be that, but the protests there and then seeing how people react, whether it was Pilsen and Little Village and basically just honking. And did you see that video of the agent trying to run into a State Farm and basically being walked backwards out because they were locking the door? Those are the things, right? It's the images coming out of Chicago, from my perspective, and it's different for everybody, is seeing Albany Park, seeing what happened in South Shore, seeing these elements of our city.
We are not going to tolerate our communities being bullied and brutalized. And I don't know if maybe President Taco and his administration were unaware. But last time he came here, I remember when he came here in 2016, 2015, we sent him back in tears. I don't know what he thinks. Who he thinks we are. We're Chicago,
fantastic.
Baby.
Ken Mejia-Beal is referring to the rally he was trying to have at UIC Pavilion.
That one.
There had been sort of like all day long sort of activity. I will tell you this.
Yeah.
I was walking there with my producer at the time. Craig and I made our way to UIC. I have a picture of a police officer just leaning on a fence, like one of the movable fences.
Yeah.
Harrison was completely open. There was no... whatever it was that made him, you're right. There was no danger. They said, it's too dangerous for us to drive down Harrison. We were sitting there chatting with a cop, and he goes, I've been out here for 45 minutes, nothing's going on.
We just don't like you.
No.
And we're not a city that tolerates what we don't like. We just don't.
Well, I tried to find it last night, and I had to reach out to the comedian that did the video when I was at my previous radio station. In 2014, when we were all outraged by the letters, City Hall was trying to change the policy for brand, for buildings and lettering. And there's a video of me screaming at the building from across the river in 2014. like before.
Before it was cool.
Yeah, right. It was like I was yelling at like you look better maybe with a toupee. Go back to New York. Like okay, we don't want you here. Like
You're not welcome.
You're
here.
not welcome.
We don't.
I'm surprised.
Yeah, we don't suffer fools gladly
Now
here.
that I'm thinking about it, I might have been on a watch list for a long time.
Ma'am, you still are on a watch list.
I'm just saying.
I think we both are.
I mean, there is back to New York.
Yeah.
Which had not been, by the way, me getting diverted. You didn't. We will always in sync.
Yes.
This woman in front of that tank in the polka dot dress.
Oh.
And I mean, give that woman all the flowers. Give her all the bottles of wine, all of the chocolates.
New Yorkers are the same. Like,
Have you seen this lady
doing?
be? This woman is in her with her purse on her shoulder. She's got like loafers on, just standing there giving that tank the what for, and then like gets out of the way, still yelling at the tank, and someone gets out and tussles with her, and she just shoves. She just shoves.
Big mistake.
What?
Don't do
This lady. She takes the train to work.
You never make contact with someone who's not afraid of a tank.
Right?
That's rule number one. You just don't. You let them be.
She put her body in front of the tank.
Yeah.
With both birds flying high.
She has no fears.
No fears. Oh, it was amazing. And to your point, however, we take the joy in those moments that should not be happening.
Correct. And we have to, but I have always been proud to be from Chicago, live in Chicago, because we just don't tolerate this kind of stuff. And we're not a group of... What I like about Chicago versus a lot of other places is we don't get together and have coffee meetings and strategize. We are very much like, oh, this is happening, bring it.
Yes.
Like we're not going to... There's no game plan. There's, like we have game plans for how we're going to organize our community.
Right.
But when the crap gets here, there are no meetings.
Well,
we're just going to go for it.
It's funny you say that because I know somebody who's doing the work of like trying to intervene and at least catalog and videotape and warn people, all those things. And he said that like to your point, like they're all kind of like the office where and a bunch of white people, just trying to put their bodies in between to be.
That's what we do.
And he's just like, none of us know what we're doing.
We're just here. Like, oh, you need me to stand in front of this thing? Got it.
Okay,
like I'm
you
here.
need to film this? Okay,
right.
Let's go. I got a whistle. I got a big mouth.
Yes, right? I'm here.
Yeah, I qualify for all those things. Hold on, dude. So I know that they're doing orange whistles, and my friend Adam had an orange whistle. He says it's best for him because a middle-aged white man walking around a grade school might otherwise seem weird, so at least people can identify him with his whistle. But now this is not the original. I have several keychains.
Yeah.
So I have my original lifeguard whistle from 1989.
That's a good whistle.
And so I ordered
with some age.
I mean, yeah, there's some DNA on that.
There's a lot with that
wooden
whistle.
ball. So they're made with a wooden ball. I wish I could whistle it for you, but that would probably hurt people.
It would hurt me. Okay.
But that's just a little baby. But these are for emergencies, and so I don't want to have to use it, but I have it, right?
We should all have, for emergencies, and they're popping up out of nowhere. But what I've learned in just my weeks of kind of watching this is I shouldn't be laughing. They stand out like a sore thumb.
Oh, sure.
Like at first I thought it'll be hard. And it's like, oh, that guy.
Do they all walk like they got something stuck someplace uncomfortable for them?
They walk uncomfortably, right? And they have this look of... Okay.
Jeans. Why can't they buy jeans that fit them?
They don't, and I don't get it.
What is that? The baggy butts all over the place.
And they
butted agents.
And they all, for anybody that ever watched Breaking Bad, they all remind me of Hank.
Yes.
Each and every one of them.
Barrel-chested, yes.
It's like, oh, it's Hank. He's not from here. He's here to cause trouble.
Hank, except that they're all the agents that were laughing at him when he didn't want to, when he in the desert when the turtle blows up.
Yes.
Right? They're all the ones making fun of him. And he's in the car having an anxiety attack.
Correct.
Sorry, spoiler alerts for a show.
Sorry if you've never. But They're
Yes.
all Hank.
They're
And
all
it's like,
that's
I got
amazing. Thanks for making me laugh about this. ICE's deplorable tactics have been making me well up because it's absolutely horrible.
It is horrible.
I agree with Ken. Low IQ, untrained.
They're all the people that the police forces, the fire departments, they didn't want. They're the losers. They're the rejects.
Want you.
Nobody wanted them. They were probably not liked in high school. They never got the pretty girl or the pretty guy or whatever. And now they're here.
Yes.
They're a bunch of losers.
It's true.
They're a bunch of losers.
I got whistles and bells here.
Yeah.
Bells and whistles. Look at that. I'm all set. Let's take a break here. We're to see Ken Mejia-Beal. He is the treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org.
You got it, baby.
And find out about the great work that he does. And coming up on November 20th, it's Trivia Night at the Skeleton Key. It'll be movie Trivia Night, and I look forward to hopefully.
Yes.
And here's the thing. I'm going to be there. If I can't do this, I can do that.
We're going to make this happen.
I'm just going to drive out there. Thank you to our sponsors. I'm going to tell you a little bit more about them when we come back because I've been late to every single break this week, and Lady B doesn't deserve that.
Hey, Progressives, this is Richard Chu from Chu's Views. People ask me oftentimes, Richard, why do you fight? I fight because I stand on the shoulders of my family and ancestors. I fight because of the people who may be taken advantage of. But most importantly, it's required in a civil, caring democracy. It's something that I fight for and I believe in, and I'll do it every day. That's why I fight. So, stay tuned, Progressives.
Richard Chu, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820. WCPT Replay.
We are talking with retired Major General Randy Manner.
It's very important that you find these concepts of hope locally, because when it is absent from a higher level, for example, in this case, nationally, you have to look and find it because there are these great leaders. I will tell you that I was absolutely inspired by the remarks of the governor of Illinois and the mayor of this great city when both of them gave that press conference. I was going, now those are leaders.
Yeah.
Those are people who are saying we are going to stand up for our people. In terms of the people who are listening to this now, if you live in Chicago or you live in Illinois, you should be proud of those leaders that you've elected to stand up for what is right.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
This is WCPT 820, where facts matter.
If you're listening to this station right now, you've definitely heard my voice before. Hi, I'm Hawk.
And I'm Pete. And we're with Source Solar, your local source for solar. Source Solar is Chicagoland's premier solar installer, providing solutions for over 1,000 homeowners and business owners across Illinois and Iowa.
With over a decade of industry experience and deep roots here in Chicago, we have the expertise to help your transition to clean, renewable, resilient energy.
We can guarantee that we save you money day one without any out-of-pocket cost to you. This means you have an instant ROI, instant payback, and can save money to add to your bottom line day one.
At Source Solar, we source everything as local as possible, meaning we always carry the Made in USA sticker.
Find us online at www.source.solar. Stop in our office at 5710 North Northwest Highway or give us a call at 773-985-3992.
And don't forget to ask for Hawk and
Or Pete.
Patti Vasquez is taking your calls now. All right, let's hit it. At 773-763-9278.
I got a lot to say.
It's Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you. Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home with guest co-host Kevin. Why is this not turning down? Hold on. Let me just kill that. There you go.
We have the music. We've changed my name.
Maybe it's because it's in queue. Oh my gosh, I'm so much louder in my ears, in my headsets. It was in queue. Everyone heard. You heard the music though, right?
Yes.
Okay, good.
We all did.
Ken, it was so loud in my head that I called you Kevin.
So my brother's name is Kevin, so I would have if you had just
that is not okay that happened to your childhood.
It's
Ken and
fine.
Kevin, it's too close.
I will answer Kevin, Ken, Keith, whatever. I'm like, yes.
Yes. Okay.
Whatever.
Ken Mejia-Beal, the treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org.
Thank you.
And I should have brought you some Pride Coffee Roasters beans, and my apologies, but I will get you a bag of coffee.
I'll be back.
I know. So I do want to mention the Resist Roast, which I have a bag of at home.
Yay.
And together we drink in solidarity with the Resist Movement blend. This medium roast is an equal blend of our Dominican Republic and Arabica beans from Asia. Is it Arabica?
Arabica.
Oh, thank you.
I wasn't going to correct you, but you looked at me like, am I?
Yeah.
And I was like, Arabica.
Arabica, thank you.
You're welcome.
I needed that. You have no idea. Everyone listening going, yeah, that's how Patty does that.
My partner's Brazilian.
Oh.
That's the only way I know that.
Now I need it again. Arabica? Arabica beans. Okay, so together we drink in solidarity with the Resist Movement blend. This medium roast is an equal blend of our Dominican Republic and Arabica beans from Asia. Thank you. In your cup are flavors and notes of blueberry cobbler and chocolate malt with a hint of warming spice.
I'm here for it.
I mean, come on.
I'm here.
And there's the logo. You want to take a look at that?
Oh, that is awesome.
Isn't that
I
beautiful?
love that logo.
Yeah, that is the fist busting up with the rainbow. I'll show that to our listeners. Ooh,
Yeah.
go right there. Hey, everybody, that is the Resist blend, and you can purchase your beans, your coffee beans. They're single origin beans at pridecoffeeroasters.com. You can also pick up. I now have a hoodie that says "Sounds Gay."
Oh.
I'm in.
They have those T-shirts too.
Yep.
Yeah.
They have. I know they have tote bags as well. They will be at the market this weekend. I will be there as well. I think I'm slinging bread. Again, I don't know if I tell you this. I sling bread
everywhere.
at the market. I am everywhere quickly and home fast.
I don't know how you make it.
You do the same thing.
No, I'm not once I'm in a place, I'm in that place all day.
You do the same thing.
But you're like, I'm in Chicago. I'm in Wisconsin. I am in Iceland.
I will be at Joe's on Weed Street tonight.
Yes, you will.
Actually, you're right. I did a full night. Okay, so it's just a thing. I will be at Joe's at Weed Street tonight. I believe there's still some tickets available at the door for our fundraiser to benefit breast cancer services at Humboldt Health, as a matter of fact. So we are excited to do that show tonight. And then I will be at the Funny is Female Fest this weekend. I'll be in Oak Park. I will be at the Dragon Lounge, Sushi House at 7 o'clock on Saturday. Megan Gailey is headlining on Friday and Saturday. And very excited to see everybody. You can go to FIFFest.com. That's FIFFest.com.
Okay.
Or comedyplex.com for tickets to all the events and find out about all the other comedians.
It sounds hilarious.
It's going to be so much fun.
Yeah.
I have a question for you.
Yeah.
Do you speak Spanish fluently?
God, no. I don't even speak English fluently.
Same.
Like it's
Arabica.
bad.
Crocodile. It took me a long time to learn how to say crocodile because my mom, because in Spanish it's cocodrilo.
Oh, okay, got it.
Right. So some words it took me a long time growing up to like put together what that word is. So I still I stumble a little
So
bit.
my family is Southern. We're from Arkansas. So there are some words that in my head I say it a certain way and then I have to fix it. For example, wrestling. We call it wrestling. And if I'm excited, I just go, yeah, we're watching wrestling, bubble, and my friends will go, wait, what were you?
What are you?
Wrestling.
Right, do you feel like you have to sit up straight to do?
Yes, wrestling.
Do you know? So the weirdest times I sit up is when I same thing when I want to focus,
Pronounce
I sit up,
and
pronounce.
enunciate. Yeah.
The other time I sit up straight is when I am driving by a cop.
Same.
What is that like? Like somehow like maybe.
And I drive 10-2.
Right.
Like, I'm not doing it.
Why the posture thing? Like he might pull me over and be like, "Do you know I pulled you over?" Because I was slouching.
I feel like if I'm slouching, I look suspicious.
Right?
And
Like,
I already look suspicious.
And then I think it's Star Wars. I think it's Return of the Jedi. I try to drive casually.
Very casual.
Drive casual.
Nothing going on here.
Nothing happening. 10 and 2. 10 and 2. Let's get to our calls. Jeff is calling from Elgin. You're on with me and our guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal. What's on your mind, my friend?
You guys are a hot mess. Oh, my God. Going back to the beginning of your segment when you're talking about cartoons.
Yes.
The the two of you should do voiceover work for cartoons.
Oh, I would love that.
It's a dream come true.
I love that.
I hear so many potential
I
characters.
could be your old aunt. Now, my aunt would be much more like this. I appreciate the compliment.
Absolutely. How much fun would that be?
It'd be awesome.
It'd be very fun. We'll just
So
we'll just
you
have a
got career
segment.
lined up afterwards.
We'll
you.
have someone do. You know what we could do? We could do radio theater though, and do characters. Wow, radio. We don't need someone to draw for us.
It'd be a dream come true.
We get a script and we do voices.
Only if they get that guy who stands over in the corner and makes all the sound effects.
Yes.
In real time. You know, like
We get Roger Badish.
There you go.
Who has done these productions.
We're
right?
good.
I'm just saying. Now we're doing radio theater, folks.
like an old-timey
It's coming.
radio show with Patti Vasquez and Ken Mejia-Beal. Done.
Mark this for a promo.
Yeah.
So we at least do, and I need people to know that it was a listener's idea, that I didn't say we should
It was
do this.
Jeff from Elgin.
Jeff from Elgin.
Yes.
And I think
I wholeheartedly co-sign that for sure.
Thank you,
Here's
Jeff.
what we're going to do. I think we're going to do a holiday theater piece at the very least. We don't have time for Halloween. We would have done it. We would have done a scary theater.
Are you thinking one for Christmas?
Yes, I am. All right, Jeff, you're producing the show now. Congratulations.
Yes, Jeff.
So start sending us some scripts.
I'm a king of sidetrack. Get it all, all over the board, whatever.
Yep.
I had a bunch of rapid fire things, and now my mind's gone blank. I was thinking about No Kings.
Yeah.
And, people wearing stuff, and you're talking about finding some cool T-shirts and sweatshirts. I have, from the Human Rights Campaign, a bright red hat with white lettering on it that says "Make America Gay Again."
I have that
I bought
T-shirt.
my first one.
Nice.
I bought my first one at Market Days in 2016, the first time around, during in the summer of the campaign, and I wore it out. And I found out when you wash it, it turns like a shade of pink, and it's not so great anymore. So I turned around, I went on their website, and I ordered a dozen of them. And so I'm in my fifth now since then. I wear it basically every day. I wore it out at No Kings. We were out in Park Ridge because I got friends out there. And I can't tell you the number of people that walk up to me on a daily basis and are like, oh, and then they when they finally read it, and then there's this wave of relief that washes over their face. You're like, oh, okay.
Thank God.
Yeah, I thought it was the bad one, or I thought it was the other one.
I have a holiday hat my husband bought me, and it's red with a Christmas tree on it. And people, the same thing.
Yes.
They do a double take, and then they'll be like, "Oh, thank God!" I mean, you can see their
corner of their eye. And
Yeah.
yeah.
You see
mean mug from across the room.
Yeah,
Absolutely.
right. Their whole body changes. Yeah, but go ahead, Jeff. One more thing. What's up?
I was going to say that representation matters because wearing it out there in a mixed crowd, there's a lot of families and stuff. I had this dude walk up to me and he's like, "Oh my gosh, my brother's gay. I got to get him one of these hats. This reminds me, I got to go call him." And I was like, beautiful.
That's
all
awesome.
the reason in the world to wear something like that. So representation matters, even if it's a little shirt or a hat or something quirky. Someone's watching and someone's seeing that and going, yeah, that reminds me of someone I love or someone I care about. So
Excellent.
For sure.
I love that.
Sorry
Thanks,
to make
Jeff.
you schmaltzy.
See? Are you kidding me? I'm all with the
Stay
schmaltz.
hydrated.
Give me a big bucket of schmaltz. I'll be happy.
Yeah.
Thank you. Take care.
Bye, Jeff.
That's. I think people are laughing because it's the second time this week I've mentioned buckets. I don't know why buckets is a funny word to people. I came in with buckets of gratitude on Monday, and
it's something about the way you say
buckets.
it.
I have buckets.
Buckets.
It does sound like something else. Let's take a break here before I do say something else. We're gonna take a break. I don't know if I'm gonna keep myself from swearing in the next segment actually, because we're gonna talk to Nathan Taylor. You're gonna have to come sit next to me to share this microphone so we can both be on camera with Nathan.
Okay.
Or should I? Yeah. So we have to do it that way.
We'll figure it out.
We'll figure it out. Nathan
Lady
Taylor
B will figure it out.
Of Election Truth Alliance, talking about their new Florida results, what the next steps are, and how officials and the public are responding. I have so many questions. More after this on WCPT 820 and KKNW 1150. We have to get the gym. Jim's on hold, but I'll figure it out.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Frost advisories and freeze warnings in effect for most of the suburbs tonight. We'll see clear skies, a low temperature of 40 downtown, but much cooler in the suburbs where areas of frost are likely. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 15. Sunny skies on Friday with high temperatures in the low 50s. Saturday, plenty of sun and highs in the mid-50s. Sunday, cloudy with a high temperature around 59 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 52.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
If cage walls could talk, with Jody Whittaker.
Captain Paul Watson is a marine wildlife conservation and environmental activist.
And as his head rose out of the sea and his eye was there right before me, so close I could see my own reflection in that eye. That whale understood what we were trying to do because I could see the effort he made to pull himself back. And instead of crashing forward, he began to slide back to the sea as I disappeared beneath the surface, and he died. He could have killed us and chose not to. So I owe my life to that whale.
If cage walls could talk, Saturdays at 5.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
You're listening to WCPT 820, because facts matter.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us and to continue to drive it home. Joining me as guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal.
Hello.
And we are being joined right now by Zoom by Nathan Taylor with Election Truth Alliance. And he wants to talk about their new Florida results, what the next steps are, and how officials and the public are responding. Hey, Nathan, how are you doing today?
I'm good. Thanks so much for having me. I love the upgrades where we got Zoom going. So I know you got one microphone this time. So
yeah, hey, baby steps.
We're friends. We can share.
Yeah, exactly. And I apologize already for all my lipstick on the mic.
It's okay.
It's okay. Nathan, we have a lot of folks that responded to the fact that you were going to be on the show today. We shared some of the information that you've been finding from your research. Catch us up to date on let folks know what you guys do at Election Truth Alliance.
Yeah. So the Election Truth Alliance is a nonpartisan, nonprofit organization started in December of 2024, right after the election. We're composed of a bunch of different types of people with backgrounds, cybersecurity, information systems. We got data scientists. We got some PhD statisticians. And really what it is, it's an organization of Americans and voters who want to make sure, want a second look at our elections to make sure they're free, fair, safe, and secure. And what the ETA has started doing since December. And, I'm one of the executive directors. I deal with public engagement. I make, videos. I come and I talk to awesome people such as yourself. I'm kind of the face of the ETA at the moment, but I'm hoping we can, show more of our awesome people to the public as we go forward. But really what we've been doing since December is we've been using statistics to look at our elections, methods that are, founded in peer-reviewed methods that are used to look at Russian and European elections and have been held up by USAID. So, we're just reapplying well-known methods that are already published in paper. And the other half is we've taken our statistics and we've used that to determine where does it look strange? Where is our election patterns and our voting behavior weird? Where are the results looking strange? And let's go to those counties and let's go to those precincts and let's investigate on the ground. So that's what actually the ETA has been doing the last couple months, is not only doing the statistical analysis and publishing it, but I've been on the ground in Florida. I've been on the ground in a few other counties, and we've had volunteers all over the U.S. start to do the on-the-ground investigation that it will take to determine if our concerns are valid. And at this point, we've started to make public some of our findings. Recently, the ETA has started, we've started working with an investigative journalist in Florida, Allison Green, and we've started to publish, and we will continue to publish kind of some of the things we are finding in Florida. And of course, we're going to start talking about some of these other findings. So recently, Florida was made public. What have you heard so far? I'm curious, and then I'll kind of follow up.
Well, I mean, I think the biggest question people have, I mean, I think a lot of it seems as though, and we posted information about having you on the show before, but the reaction I saw all day today on my Facebook page was, duh, of course they stole it, is what I'm seeing a lot of energy behind that. Other thing is, people, few negative, but of course it's our fan page, so it makes sense, a lot of like-minded folks. However, the biggest question people have, I think that they're surprised about some of the polling places where you had voter registration completely outpaced by the number of votes that were counted, right? Tell us a little about those numbers.
Yes. So I will. So recently we released a preliminary analysis for 3 counties in Florida. These are some of the most interesting counties, in my opinion. Miami-Dade, most populated, most liberal-leaning county in the past. And it was just the last election in 24 actually flipped red. That hasn't happened in, I think, the foreseeable past. And then we were also looking at Palm Beach and St. Lucie County. Now, what's interesting and what we did publish is we did publish some of those precincts in Miami-Dade and Palm Beach where the amount of votes cast does exceed the amount of active registered voters. So this is a red flag. Now, there are some caveats, and as we continue to investigate, we're going to highlight this. Florida is a little unique in how they do their voting, and they have active voters and they have inactive voters. And by law, technically speaking, inactive voters could show up to vote. And what we're doing as we go forward is we're trying to determine what documentation do we have to find if that over 100% turnout in some of these places. We've got, for example, Miami-Dade, we have a precinct with 300 registered active voters and 369 cast votes or ballots across the board for the presidential race.
That's
so
crazy.
That's something we're starting to ask questions, as we go forward. Why are we seeing over 100% turnout for active voters? Could this be explained away, or is this indicative of a deeper problem?
Well, Nathan, something I want you to touch on a little bit. I fell down the Nathan Taylor rabbit hole over the last couple of days.
That is a dangerous rabbit hole.
It very is. I know more about Dieselgate than we can ever talk about, so thank you for that. But there's something you mentioned about not necessarily the percentage, but more about the threshold. Something about the numbers kind of upticking at a you can explain it a lot better than I can. Yes. I think that's it opened my eyes a lot to this whole thing.
What you're referencing specifically, and the reason why I love talking about and showing visuals and examples, I know we're on the radio for this one, but we do have our reports on our website and on our Substack, electiontruthealliance.org. And so go check those graphs out and, reference. But yeah, what we're seeing and what is really more alarming than just maybe some registration errors or some really strange turnout is that we're seeing voting behavior in Florida, in Nevada, in Pennsylvania, and North Carolina, which we've all made public now, where at low turnout, and we're using the precinct voting data that the state is giving us, the county and the state is giving us. So this is their official numbers and their data. And what we see is that at low turnout, for example, for Florida, in some of these counties we've highlighted, the turnout of 0 to around 60%. Harris is winning a majority of the votes across all the precincts from 0 to 60% turnout. But what's interesting is that from 60 to 65 and above, the higher turnout precincts, Trump is winning a majority of those votes. And it almost seems to create, as we said, a threshold where before the threshold, Harris is winning. After the threshold, Trump is winning. And what's interesting is this effect has been described on multiple occasions by election fraud experts when they look at Russian elections. We're talking in 2011, the Russian Duma election, I believe. And they're talking about where they're finding in precincts of 70, 80, 90% turnout, or they don't use precincts, they use polling locations, which is somewhat like what we do, just a little more spread out. Mm-hmm. They're finding that those higher turnout polling locations in the Russian elections, 80, 90% or even 100% in some cases, that is where a lot of the election fraud concerns are coming from. And they think there could be ballot stuffing creating the really high turnout. And it actually, those range of precincts is when the pro-Russian party or the government-aligned, the Putin-aligned party begins to win a majority of their votes. So this is, to put it put it blankly, statistically speaking, this is a red flag that has been attributed to election fraud in Russian elections. And we're seeing it not only in Florida, not only are we seeing it in some of the top 3 counties in Florida, we're seeing it all across North Carolina, as we've made public. We're seeing it across Pennsylvania. We're seeing it across Nevada, but Nevada doesn't vote by precinct. They just give us their polling location and their machine data, and we see it in vote counts, 250, 300 vote counts per machine or per location, and then we see that effect occur. And so we highlight all of this because it really begs the question, what can we do about it, right? If this is a concern, what can everyday Americans do about it? How can we make sure that our upcoming elections, the midterms, are free, fair, safe, and secure? If there is a compromise of the machines or of the systems we're using right now, how do we start to make a change so that we know and we get the investigations so that if there is a problem, we identify it, and if there isn't, we verify that we're good before the midterms, right? And that's something that I'm sure you guys have a little thoughts on. Anything that come to mind?
So what happens with the court cases? What can can you demand more information from more precincts, from more states, from more election boards? Like what are some of the next steps?
Yes. So what the ETA has done is, as I said, we've been on the ground investigating, because statistics alone is not proof of election fraud. Never before in a successful court case has statistics been used to argue election fraud. We have examples of this from the 2020 election. So we've actually the ETA has been compiling additional evidence to support our pending upcoming cases. And ironically, we've started to come to a concern of, I'm from the South. So, once you open that can of worms and you start digging, we're finding a lot more than we expected. And I'll kind of briefly tell you some of the things we're finding overall, and then we'll talk kind of what can we start doing next. So some of the main concerns that we've had is in some of these places we are investigating, we have started to find concerns with the voter registration, mismatching from the county to state reports, from the initial reports. We are very concerned that if there is any manipulation of the voter registration database, you could do a lot with messing with our elections. We're also starting to find some other serious red flags, as you've already seen with Florida, but we're finding this in other places where we're getting more votes or more ballots cast than registered voters. And we're also finding for certain types of voting, data from the counties doesn't match from a earlier time in the day to a later time in the day. We're finding decreases in reported final totals. So this is some of the stuff that will be coming out as we go forward and make public and litigate on. And really what we hope to do, and the common pushback we get is people are like, oh, the election is certified. So if there was any compromise of our elections, it's over with. Well, as we said, one, if the systems are compromised and it did have an impact on the election, we're still using those systems going forward, so we can litigate on that to stop using those systems, to investigate them further, to figure out how they were compromised. My hope as well is as we make some of this public and we start litigating, we'll be able to have access to the physical ballots to double check, the original votes versus the digital reports. That would show any problems pretty quickly. We would also like, it's really the first step is showing there's a problem, and then what we are advocating for is getting the state governments, for some of the blue states, some of the red states that are wanting to come on board, to start investigating themselves. Because I don't want to have to litigate. The ETA can't litigate in every state or every swing state. And it really is a capacity that the secretaries of state and the governors have to start investigating their own systems. Once we show there is a problem, it could be tied to the systems we're using. We don't truly know. The data is just saying there is an issue. And as you said, with Volkswagen as an example, Dieselgate, the audits were fine, but the data was not matching up with what was actually happening. Emissions were too high, and the audits weren't flagging anything, so they had to go and actually start investigating the systems in use, and that's really what we're pushing for as the next step.
We are going to continue our conversation. Do you have time to stick around for another segment, my friend?
Oh, yeah.
Excellent. We are hanging out with Nathan Taylor of Election Truth Alliance, and we have in studio with us guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal, who will be taking over in the the second segment of the second hour. I can't do the math right now.
I don't know math.
Neither do I. It's all word problems to me. Let's take a break here. We'll continue in a moment on WCPT 820 Heartland Signal and KKNW 1150.
Life with Dr. Sanjay Gupta.
For the most part, when people who are overweight lose weight, they feel a lot better. Their bodies start experiencing physiological changes. They can move around more easily. Not to mention, they're probably getting a lot of positive feedback from family and friends. But there's this interesting new study out of Canada, which found that people who cut too many calories from their diet might experience worsening depression, at least until they start to see and feel the results of their weight loss. Experts we talked to about this said, try to find better balance rather than taking things to the extreme. For example, are you actually eating healthy meals and eating slowly enough to be mindful about what you eat? That might help you come to realize that maybe you don't really need that second portion or that sweet treat after all. Of course, if you still have trouble, a registered dietitian might be able to help. I'm Dr. Sanjay Gupta, helping you live a better life.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses, inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
Alexa, play WCPT.
WCPT from TuneIn.
You're listening to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. Joining me in studio is guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal, and on the line we have Nathan Taylor of Election Truth Alliance, and we've been talking about the research that he and his collaborators have been doing in regards to the 2024 election. What other elections have you worked on before we talk more about these what you found so far?
So we have actually been looking at past elections in the U.S. We've also actually recently started looking at the recent Canadian election and have their data. And we started pulling some of the older Russian election data that has been, published for concerns of election fraud in the past. We have made some of the 2020 data public with Nevada, but we do plan on kind of starting to look back at 2020 and 2016 as we go forward. But 24 is a majority of our focus right now. We do have, and we are looking at making this public in the near future. We've started looking at special elections since the 24 election, see how those compare with some of the concerns we've started raising.
Well, would that study indicate the fact that people, with the success that Democrats have had, with the success that one party has had, because I know that you are nonpartisan, the success that one party seems to have had consistently, is perhaps that the people are not tampering with the elections. I'm just saying, is that a possibility?
Well, a good point we bring up is, as we've talked about with the 24 data, we see effects start to occur at high turnout, high vote count. And so I will say the special elections seem to have a much lower turnout than the presidential election. So that is an interesting point. I can't talk too much about what we're seeing, but when we make the concerns public, the argument will be, does those following elections look more statistically normal like we say it should? And who's winning when it looks statistically normal versus who's winning when it doesn't?
Fabulous. One of the biggest questions then that people have all day today is, and I think Ken mentioned this earlier, is what can we do then to prevent any sort of anomalies and tampering?
Yeah. So main thing is right now, we still want people to be engaged in our elections. That's the common pushback we get, is they're worried that by talking about the vulnerabilities or the concerns with the systems, people won't show up to vote. We still want people engaged. We still want people ready for the midterms. We want you to show up and show out. The way you can start getting engaged right now is obviously, if you do think there are concerns, I would recommend, talking friends, family, share this to people who may have some power to help. As I said, we just want investigations. Some of the people that you could reach out to is your own election officials, your governor or secretary of state. Once they start hearing about these concerns, I will say this, we talked about this last time. We have reached out to multiple different entities, secretaries of state in some states, governors. And the pushback we get is generally like the two things we get in response is one, the pushback saying, well, we've already done audits and we didn't find anything. And I like when they say that because our response is always, depending on where we, are reaching out to, we have started looking at how the U.S. does our elections and does our audits. And yes, we do audit our machines before or after the election. The problem is, if we're testing the machines and I have maliciously compromised the machines, just like with Volkswagen's concerns, it's very easy to defeat a standard audit because if I'm just testing if the machine counts correctly during a test, and pretty much what I would do and what we are concerned about is I would just use a timed window and only manipulate votes during election day or during the timed window. And then that wouldn't be activated or it wouldn't be present any time else. So if I test all the votes, if I test how well the machines count before or after the election, they may count correctly. But during that window is when you could manipulate things. The other half is we have started looking at what type of audits we do in the U.S. And most of the states will do some type of 2% sampling audit. Problem we've started raising is that we want audits that are targeting where the manipulation is showing up. And some of these sampling audits are targeting lower turnout or lower, more rural areas. And we're flagging some of the most populated counties in some of the highest turnout precincts is where we're seeing the concerns of vote manipulation, whether it's switching, whether it's stuffing, whether it's an algorithm that's changing things around. So we want to audit those places. And that's why we want this. And the last little thing I will say, and it really sucks to hear this, is when you do audits like this, for example, when I worked in cybersecurity, information tech, does a bank audit themselves? No, you hire a third party or an independent because, we could do everything right, and we're not accusing the counties or the states of doing anything wrong. We're saying that you could do everything right. You could follow every procedure and practice, and yet those audits could still be defeated by a bad actor because it's written down and you have a standard process, just like what happens with Volkswagen and Dieselgate, right? They knew how they were going to test the systems, and they made a way to defeat them. And so we bring that up now because we are worried that something like that could happen with our systems now, and we want to verify, and the data is telling us where to go look and that there are problems here. And the other piece that we've started to make a little more public as we dig into the machines and the systems is we have started finding that some of the companies and entities that audit our election systems that, for example, the top two brands are spanning 70 to 80% of the U.S. We're using them across state lines. We're using them across county lines. We're starting to find that the main auditors of those systems, they did publish and approve software updates before the election that we are flagging, that Smart Elections is flagging, that Newsweek is flagging, that could have potentially introduced vulnerabilities or turned off security features that would have helped you detect a compromise of the systems. And these were labeled de minimis. They potentially turned off the alerting that would tell you if the operating system of your scanners, your tabulators, was changed. So it's things like this we're starting to find as we go forward, and it paints a very concerning picture that we think warrants a second look.
And I guess I know I've asked this question every single time I've had you on, which is if you do find that, and you have irrefutable evidence, what can Americans do in regards to what happened in the last election?
It is an excellent question. At the end of the day, sadly, we don't know what can be done legally, given the election is certified, and you would have to contest that in the court of law and, probably, the Supreme Court. But what we can do, is, first and foremost, now is really the good time for people to start, talking to your communities and coming together and, building out your communities, being engaged in your, civil rights. That's really important. Every American should, be able to partake. But what's also important is as we go forward and this becomes, and we release our findings, and if there is credible and real evidence, as, we'll make public, and there are lawsuits that find these problems, we're really going to need the support of the American people to pressure change, right? That's really what it would take, right? If our systems are compromised, the states shouldn't be using these systems. So we need people to be engaged in pushing that message. Unions are really powerful and really effective. And I think if people aren't already engaged, they could be engaged in unions. Unions have the capacity to really help push new legislation. And really, that's the first step, is even if we can't decertify an election, even if we can't immediately do something about the 24 election, we can act based on if the systems are compromised or not, change them out or stop using them and hand count and, use that going forward for the midterms, which will be, a concern. I will say this last little piece that most people aren't aware of. That's the other half of what ETA does, right, is we're trying to educate you on how our systems work, how our voting works. Most people don't realize, they hear, voting machines, but they don't realize that in the 24 election, almost, I think 80% of the vote across the U.S. was hand-marked paper ballots. But almost 100% of the votes, hand-marked, machine-marked, or digitally cast, was still counted by a machine. Your hand-marked paper ballots are scanned by optical tabulators, right? So we bring this up that these large, over 70% of the U.S. brands, they scan the paper ballots too. And if there is a compromise of our tabulation systems, then a solution going forward would be not only hand-marked paper ballots and an appropriate chain of custody, but also hand counting the paper ballots. That would be the key piece. And we don't currently do hand counting as like the first step for election audits. We don't really immediately jump on things right after the election. So there is no like automatic second look at scale. You may do a spot check right now.
Wow. I'm glad that his answer to what can we do going forward, it wasn't pray. So folks can get involved, support the work that Nathan Taylor and the folks at Election Truth Alliance do. Go to electiontruthalliance.org. I know that we'll be talking to you again very soon. I want to thank you so much for the work that you do and for explaining it so well. It may not be, it is soothing in a way, knowing that someone is paying attention.
Yes.
But the other stuff is scary. I'm going to be honest.
Thanks so much for having me.
It's good to see you. This is great.
Yeah, this is great.
Yeah,
hopefully
next time we'll get
Nathan. Thank you
we'll get
so
two
much.
microphones. We'll do some back and forth.
Yeah, exactly.
Yes. Thank you so much. You take care, and I hope we'll have some more
news.
Calls to action in the near future.
Perfect. Thank you so much. Have a great weekend, my friend. Thank you. Let's take a break here and continue our conversation. When we come back on WCPT 820 and KKW 1150. Sorry, I didn't have any mints. Ken, more.
If you're looking to purchase a new home or refinance your existing home, you need to call Team Hochberg, your trusted local lender. Last year, Mitch, 50, railroad worker, income 100 G's a year, score 630, called to consolidate his debt with a cash-out refinance. Team Hochberg loan officer Johnny Hendrickson helped Mitch pay off his debt and save $800 a month. Johnny called Mitch for a 6-month post-closing checkup and informed him his credit score was now over 700. Then Johnny helped Mitch lower his rate, remove the PMI, and save him another $400 a month while covering all his closing costs. Let's review. Team Hochberg loan officer Johnny Hendrickson helped Mitch eliminate his debt, save $1,200 a month, and improve his scores over 100 points. Team Hochberg's helped thousands of radio listeners, but we can't help if you don't call 855-563-2843 or visit 56david.com. That's 855-563-2843 or visit that website you know you love, 56david.com. Lower.com, equal housing lender, NLS 1124061.
You've still got it, but your immune system weakens as you age, making it hard to fight the flu, pneumococcal pneumonia, RSV, and COVID-19. Ask your doctor or pharmacist which vaccines you need. Sponsored by Pfizer.
BP News, I'm Ben Thomas. President Trump says the administration will brief Congress about recent deadly strikes on alleged drug smuggling boats. Sagar Magani reports 2 strikes took place in the Eastern Pacific this week.
The strikes have killed at least 36 people. Lawmakers from both parties are concerned about the president ordering military action without providing many details or getting Congress's approval. He says the administration will definitely provide a briefing.
What are they going to do? Say, gee, we don't want to stop drugs pouring in?
And he does not think he needs a formal declaration of war from Capitol Hill.
I think we're just going to kill people that are bringing drugs into our country. Okay, we're going to kill them. You know, they're going to be like dead.
The president insists the administration has the same legal authority the George W. Bush White House used for the war on terror. Sagar Meghani, Washington.
The president's backing off a planned surge of federal agents to San Francisco after speaking to Mayor Daniel Lurie, who told him the city's making progress reducing crime.
We have work to do, and we would welcome the continued partnership with FBI, DEA, ATF, and U.S. attorneys to get drugs and drug dealers off of our streets. But having the military and militarized immigration enforcement in our city will hinder our recovery.
The president's pardoned Binance founder Changpeng Zhao, who created the world's largest cryptocurrency exchange. Zhao served prison time after failing to stop criminals from using the platform to move money connected to child sex abuse, drug trafficking, and terrorism. The Trump administration's finalized a plan to open the coastal plain of Alaska's Arctic National Wildlife Refuge to oil and gas drilling. Meantime, oil and gas stocks led Wall Street higher as oil prices jumped more than 5%. That followed the announcement of new U.S. sanctions on Russia's oil industry. This is AP News. The NBA's top 3 draft picks made their debuts last night. Gethin Coolbaugh reports mixed results.
Man, yeah, that was crazy.
20-year-old rookie and third overall NBA draft pick VJ Edgecombe finished with 34 points in a 117-116 win in Boston, recording the third most points in an NBA debut and the most since Wilt Chamberlain's record 43 in 1959.
I was blessed to be in this position on the big stage in Boston and perform.
Edgecombe's performance wowed all-star teammate Tyrese Maxey.
77 was good tonight.
Elsewhere, reigning top pick Cooper Flagg struggled in his debut with the Mavericks, scoring just 10 points on 4 of 13 shooting in a 125-92 loss to the Spurs.
Not great. Obviously didn't play incredibly well.
Number 2 pick Dylan Harper of San Antonio debuted with 15 points. Gethin Coolbaugh, Boston.
There's more news at apnews.com. I'm Ben Thomas. Thanks for listening.
This is 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and streaming worldwide at WCPT820.com. We are Chicago's progressive talk, where facts matter. Now, your WCPT 820 weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Frost advisories and freeze warnings in effect for most of the suburbs tonight. We'll see clear skies, a low temperature of 40 downtown, but much cooler in the suburbs where areas of frost are likely. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 15. Sunny skies on Friday with high temperatures in the low 50s. Saturday, plenty of sun and highs at the mid-50s. Sunday, cloudy with a high temperature around 59 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 52.
Every day, 70,000 puppies or kittens are born in the U.S. Cute, right? Well, what's not cute is that half of all litters are accidents. And when a kitten has a litter of oopsies and a puppy has a litter of uh-ohs, pretty soon you have thousands and thousands of OMGs. And that leads to millions of pets being killed in shelters each year. But if 80% of people with pets say they believe in spaying and neutering, then what gives? Turns out that those sweet little fuzzballs can get pregnant sooner than you think. A lot sooner. But here's the good news. You can stop the accident before it happens. You just have to remember one number, 4, as in 4 months. When you bring home Maggie or Ruby or Puddles or Clyde, get them fixed at 4 months old. It can be old enough to get pregnant, and it's definitely young enough to make a difference. Prevent more. Fix at month 4. Visit fixat4.com for more information. Brought to you by Best Friends Animal Society.
Chicago's progressive talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Driving it home with Patti Vasquez, Patti Vasquez. From global conflicts to greenhouse gases, the folks refusing to wear masks says, and politicians getting caught grabbing ass says, she's driving it home with Patti Vasquez.
Thank you so much for joining us as we continue to drive it home. And joining me in studio is guest co-host Ken Mejia-Beal, treasurer for Youth Outlook. Go to youth-outlook.org.
Yes.
I'm getting it 30 or 40 times in.
Ask me. I'm no longer the secretary. You're getting the hyphen.
Got all the things.
We're all the things.
And the next trivia night will be on November 20th at Skeleton Key, and it will be movie night. And also he relaxes by watching Solar Opposites. These are the things that we've learned.
You should, if you're in it, watch Solar Opposites on Netflix. If you have to have a sense of humor, though. If you don't watch it.
Well, I think our guest. If you don't have a sense of humor, that's MAGA.
Don't.
On the line with us, someone I know who has a sense of humor is our good friend Dan Shafer. My apologies for the Zoom phone kerfuffle. I made an executive decision to go by phone. We will see you next week, maybe, or next time we have you on, we'll have you on Zoom. Hi, Dan.
Hey, Patty.
Dan looks like he's hesitant to ask me what's going to happen next.
Poor Dan, he got a whole backstory.
Dan Shafer is the publisher.
What did
editor.
I just walk into? No.
Sorry,
He is
Dan.
the award-winning publisher, editor, writer of the Recombobulation Area. You can go to the Recombobulation Area on Substack. So subscribe to his work. Pay to be a subscriber because they do such extraordinary work,
Yes, they
including sending me the most delightful photos I have seen. I got choked up, Dan. There at the protest at the No Kings rally in Milwaukee, there were folks holding up signs that said "Nobody messes with our fibs."
Oh,
come on now!
Yes.
Well, my heart, Dan. Hi.
I thought of you immediately when I saw those signs, Patty, because you've embraced the Fibs moniker with the work that you've done in Wisconsin, knocking doors, getting involved in some of the crazy that we have going on here. I know you're like the charter member of Fibs for Wisconsin, right? So we're standing in solidarity with folks like yourself who stood with us, and it was really cool to see. You guys have been dealing with so much in Chicago lately, and we've been dealing with some of the same in Milwaukee, but not nearly to the degree that you all have. And I think it was very cool to see people stand in solidarity with our neighbors to the south.
I agree. What have you guys seen? Because I know we're starting to see more activity in other parts of the country. This horrifying raid on a horse farm in Idaho, where children were being chased and guns pointed at them. I know that there are farmers. There's some places, dairy farms that have been the targets. Tell us a little bit about what's going on in Wisconsin.
Yeah, it's hard. It's been hard to find, some of the news. I know there was an ICE raid at a dairy farm in Manitowoc. I know there's been some activity in Madison. I know there's been an increase in activity, and really even over the last week here in Milwaukee. But it's like I'll read these stories out of Chicago, and it's just it's so far beyond ridiculous what we're seeing, and I don't think that type of Black Hawk helicopters and some of the what's going on in different neighborhoods and all of that hasn't quite come to Milwaukee yet. But I think what's happening in Chicago has been certainly putting us all on high alert, and we're in kind of worried that what's happening in Chicago could be coming to Milwaukee at some point down the line. I think there's a lot that our cities have in common, and so I do but we're both standing in solidarity and kind of treading carefully in some fear and frustration about what might be ahead for us.
When you mentioned the neighborhoods that have been affected and what you're seeing, those images, Ken Mejia-Beal has been out when there's been a surge. If you want to tell Dan a little bit of how that goes down.
It's horrible. They drive around in mask, and they just stop wherever they want, and they jump out. It's chaos. It is very disturbing. It's something I've never seen anything like it before in my life. But the plus, and this is what I tell folks, is very unorganized. It's not a well-oiled machine. It is very unorganized, and it can be easily disrupted by onlookers, which is a great thing. It is not a well-organized machine.
Yeah,
it's not.
If there's something to take to heart, there is that. Yes. And that people standing up to them. I mean, look, people are putting their bodies between ICE agents sometimes and people who are being abducted from our streets. But there is, we are cataloging things. People are showing up for each other. And we do recommend, the sort of response teams that we have here. And I know that there are organizers connecting with people across the country. And so you have some colorful folks in Wisconsin politics. We really have not done a Ron Johnson update lately, have we?
Do we have to?
No, we haven't.
Yeah.
I mean, do we want to have a Ron Johnson update? That's always been a hallmark of these conversations that we have when you check in on Wisconsin. But he's this is the deal with him. He's never a particularly active senator.
Yeah, no kidding.
And so there's not a lot to talk about with him because he's not really doing a whole lot. But he's made a couple conservative media appearances. One lately that he was discussing. Obviously one of the big issues with the shutdown right now is the Affordable Care Act tax credits and the subsidies to go to help bring people's premiums down. And Johnson went on conservative media this week and said that, hey, he's working on a plan. It's coming soon. He's working with Florida Senator Rick Scott.
Oh, boy.
So, yeah, let's team up with, Senator Medicare fraud in Florida and Senator Conspiracy Theory in Wisconsin, and they're going to put their heads together and get a plan. Now they'll get a plan, not any time over the last 15 years when they said they would have a plan. It's coming. It's coming soon. It's always coming soon.
Yeah, as always, and we're all waiting with bated breath. We're all dying from the bated breath situation.
We will drop out from no oxygen if we hold our breath long enough.
Exactly. It's a lot happening.
Yeah.
I feel by the way, before I forget before the end of the segment, I know we usually end on teasing each other about our sports teams, the games of ball, Ken.
Yes.
I think we can. I was hopeful for the Brewers, and I'm very sorry.
We are all sorry.
Yes.
It's okay. We're okay. We're moving on. It was a great season.
Yeah, it was.
But the Dodgers are playing a different sport, I think, maybe than the rest of the league.
It was not without controversy, though, at Brewers. Is it Brewers Park? Brewers Park? Is that what it's called?
I don't think it's. What
is it called?
Brewers Park?
American Family Field.
There you go.
I like Brewers. Let's go Brewers Park.
I call it Miller Park.
Sox Park.
I call it Miller Park.
Look, it's Sox Park, Brewers Park, and Wrigley. Anyway.
Yes. The place where dreams happen.
Exactly. There was a little bit of controversy. Now, this was a little bit crazy. Ken, I don't know if you saw this video of sort of a back and forth, some taunting between fans. A Dodgers fan who was there.
Of course I saw it,
And
yes.
the Brewers fan were kind of in his face. We don't know what started what, Dan, right? We don't know where this began. But at some point, she does say to the Dodgers fan, this. And by the way, apparently there truly is an option to go in for a haircut and ask for the Karen. I didn't know that still. I don't know
Is
why.
there really?
Oh, 1,000%. And it's tailored depending on your body type. This one's kind of a shrivel-lipped. Anyway, let's not get into that part. She said we should call ICE at some point in this exchange. And Dan, the kicker for me is that we've seen some of the video where he's kind of swearing at them. She slaps his phone. They both get banned, right?
That's my understanding of it, is that they both were asked to leave, I'm sure very nicely. But also after the fact, there was, the social media, all the videos get posted, they go viral, whatever. The woman in the video lost her job and had to resign from. She was on the board of the Make-A-Wish Foundation in Milwaukee.
Good for her.
So she had to. She resigned her position and lost her job at Manpower over that. So at least somebody's facing a measure of accountability, right?
Yeah, exactly. Well, and he was like, because she's like, let's call ICE, and he's like, I'm a veteran. I've been to war.
Yeah.
Like he was not playing at that
It's
point.
not a cool thing to say.
Yeah.
It's not cool. Don't say it.
No.
Yeah. I mean, because basically you're saying I'm with the Nazis and I want to see someone targeted.
Correct.
Go ahead, Dan.
I didn't like that from any standpoint, and obviously with making those kinds of threats are ridiculous. I also thought it was a bad karma standpoint for us, for the team. Once that happened, I was like, oh, this series is over. We're cooked.
Yep. Because I will tell you this, Dan, no one was rooting for the Dodgers outside of LA.
Mm-hmm. No.
Yeah.
And then Ice Lady happened, and it changed everything.
Yeah.
She's you guys' goat.
She's your goat. Yeah.
She's your goat. She's the Brewers' goat.
We will send you. We'll send you a goat with a Karen haircut. That's what we're gonna do. Put a little blonde wig on her, a little bit of light pink kind of.
Absolutely.
I think it was a frosted pink lipstick, by the way. You know what I'm talking about, Ken.
I've met all the Karens. All of them.
Before we let you go, my friend, what are you working on this week? What's happening in Wisconsin?
Oh, there's so much happening in Wisconsin. We just really don't have a dull moment when it comes to our state's politics. But, one of the big things that's been happening, got some national headlines this week, is kind of the governor's race taking shape here. And now we talked about Ron Johnson, the guy who ran against him a couple of years ago, Mandela Barnes. Democratic candidate, former lieutenant governor, is kicking around the potential of running for governor this time instead of senator. He was agonizingly close at defeating Ron Johnson in 2022, lost by less than 1%. It was the closest Senate race we've had in Wisconsin for more than 100 years to that point. And so, a lot of people are wondering, is it a good idea for somebody who has run statewide in the fairly recent past to try again? Is that the right strategy, or should it be somebody else? So I think that's really one of the big conversations that's dominating Wisconsin politics this week. There was a New York Times piece that kind of talked about how some Democrats are uneasy about Barnes running again. There was so there's just been a lot of back and forth about whether that's a good idea. And so, I struggle with it too. And I'm interested to see, kind of how this plays out, if somebody who, like running for one office and then, losing and then running for a different office, I do wonder if that's the right route to go. Like it's a very difficult conversation. And I think it's one that's going to be really important for the future of the state. And we're kind of right in the thick of it right now. So we'll see what happens. We'll see if he does indeed announce.
Wow.
In the coming weeks here.
We'll be watching.
Yes, we will. And there's so many things to talk about. I have to run. And Dan Shafer, I miss your face, but we'll see it soon on Zoom because we've moved into the 2000s.
It's a wonderful time.
I'm grateful and excited to use all the equipment we have now. Look, mostly they're like, don't let Patty have more toys. It's just she doesn't know how to push the buttons that we have. Go ahead, Dan. What were you saying?
Well, I'm looking forward to talking to you on the live stream in the weeks to come here, and I'm sorry about your cubbies too.
Yes,
we're used to it.
I gotta get at least something in there. If you gave my Brewers a hard time. We did win that series against the Cubs, by the way.
Correct.
Yes, remember
you
that.
did.
We can't just zoom right past that.
No, I did kind of.
We don't have to talk about that, Dan. We don't talk about that.
Hey, I don't know what the record is, but the Bears did win a game. I don't know how many in addition to.
I gave up on them years ago.
I don't know how the Packers are doing. Are you guys hanging in there?
The Bears, is that a professional team?
Look at the time. Thank you, Dan. Have a great evening.
All right, be well. Thanks.
Everyone subscribe to the Recombobulation Area. That's award-winning Dan Shafer, publisher, editor, writer. So go ahead and check that out. Before I go, I do want to thank Dan. Dan and Nathan for joining our show today. Yes. Ken Mejia-Beal, my guest co-host, will be taking over shortly. And before I go, I want to make sure I talk to our sponsors, meaning about them. Source Solar. Go to source.solar. Make an appointment with Peter Sorellis. Maybe it's time to get solar panels on your house or business. We want you to definitely visit Minocqua Brewing Company, whether it's online, and order some of their great progressive brews, maybe some woke coffee. And I do encourage you to check out their Recombobulation Area. Their Substack.
Okay, there you
go. Like the Recombobulation Area. We have our essays up there. I think today, I did one this week. Millions March, Trump takes a dump again. Was my last page, my last entry. And our friends at Pride Coffee Roasters. Together we drink in solidarity with the Resist Movement blend. This medium roast is an equal blend of our Dominican Republic and Arabica beans.
Arabica.
Yeah, I heard it both ways. Yep. From Asia, Arabica, beans. Everyone right now is mad at me at home.
No one's mad about it at all.
From Asia, in your cup are flavors and notes of blueberry cobbler and chocolate malt with a hint of warming spice. That's Resist with an amazing logo you can see right there on our Facebook live stream. I guess now everyone has to go to the Facebook live stream. And we appreciate that. All right, everybody, I have to run. I'm going to Joe's on Weed Street. There's still time to buy tickets if you want to come see the show.
Go over to Joe's on Weeds or hang out with me.
And you can keep listening to Ken on the way to Joe's on Weed Street. We are doing a fundraiser to benefit breast cancer support services at Humboldt Health. We're doing stand-up comedy. Girl, let me tell you is the name of the show.
Beautiful.
See you all later. Thank you, Lady B. Thank you, everybody. I'll see you later.
Remember when they used to ask, what do you want to be when you grow up? At Bank of America, we ask every day, what would you like the power to do? When you work here, you help build businesses. inspire communities, and forge legacies. And now we've raised our U.S. minimum wage to $25 an hour. So the opportunity to do more also comes with competitive pay. Learn more at bankofamerica.com/25. Bank of America, proud to be an equal opportunity employer.
This is Senior Corps. 360,000 volunteers age 55 and older, driving results through service, helping communities recover from devastating disasters.
RSVP plays a valuable role. They're still here helping the unmet needs of the community and the survivors of the devastation.
Making sure that those who need assistance can remain in their own homes.
If I didn't have a senior companion, I would be really lost.
Tutoring and mentoring tomorrow's leaders.
The advantage of having foster grandparents working with the children one-on-one, that's a tremendous benefit.
Visit nationalservice.gov or call 1-800-942-2677. This message brought to you by the Corporation for National and Community Service.
From the personal experiences that shaped you to the accomplishments that shaped the world, every moment of a veteran's service is meaningful. At the Library of Congress Veterans History Project, we ensure those moments are never forgotten. For 25 years, the collection has made the experiences of U.S. military veterans accessible to all. Veterans, now is the time to share your story and make our history more complete. To submit your stories, photographs, and documents, visit loc.gov/vets today.
Chicago's Progressive Talk, WCPT 820, where facts matter.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversey Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
No detours, no distractions. Just bold ideas and real talk. This is Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez.
Hello, 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 and welcome back to Driving It Home with Patti Vasquez. I am taking over. Patti has some events this evening. And my name is Ken Mejia-Beal, treasurer of Youth Outlook, and we'll be talking to some Youth Outlook folks later today. I want to welcome Minnesota KTNF AM 950, 1150 KKNW in Seattle, and always WCPT 820 on Heartland Signal. We have some phone calls that we have got to take. I want to get to Jim, who has been patiently waiting for a little bit over 20 minutes. Jim, how are you today, my friend?
Hi, Ken. It's music to the Republicans' ears. They made a raid in Lower Manhattan, picking up, get your color chart out, black immigrants, so they should be delighted with that. I don't know how many they arrested. I think it was 17.
Okay.
I'm sure they're well represented. And then Trump has that meeting in the rubble of what's left of the White House, and he has the Republicans in there, and he says to them, "Well, we got to get rid of all these Democratic initiatives. I mean, food stamp, SNAP program, health care. That's all insanity. You know, we wouldn't have a Democratic Party if they didn't have these." The history of America to vote at. Like he's going to erase these billionaires are going to erase the history of the Democratic Party. I mean, good luck with that. I don't know how, unless they capture every university, they capture Hillsdale College becomes the #1 college in the country, or Prager University, or the Cato Institute, or these people put up insane how they could deviate from reality, the history of the United States of America, how they can deviate from it and go on with this insanity is anybody's guess. But I'm sure Republicans are happy they picked up enough black immigrants this week in Lower Manhattan. So now I know. So now they've got. I'm sure Chinatown. You ever been to Chinatown in New York?
No, I haven't.
Well, that's it. You can't miss that. That is just overwhelming. I mean, it's just overwhelming. You think you were? It's just overwhelming. They must have 100,000 people just in like a 5-block area. It's gorgeous. But it's huge, you know. But anyway, they got plenty to pick up over there, and I don't know. In this, but you said, I mean, they're not. That's the trouble. Because they have no discipline. You're right.
Zero discipline. Zero.
They have no discipline. And that's what's really... I mean, can you imagine Chicago police or any police department with no discipline? I mean, could you imagine that? How many lawsuits would be filed?
It would be very scary. For citizens like you and I, yeah.
Yeah, for anybody.
Yeah.
Anybody. You can't estimate what the policeman who stopped you is going to do to you.
Correct.
Well, I mean, how could you live in that society? You can't.
You can't.
But you can't live in that society. Anyway, Kenny, good luck. Thank you much, buddy.
Thanks, Jim. Talk to you soon. And now I'm going to go to one of my favorite callers, Roosevelt, who's on the line. Roosevelt, how's it going?
Hello. Thank you for taking my call.
Of course.
How you doing, by the way?
Good. How are you doing, Roosevelt? Sorry. How's it going?
Okay, hold on. I was distracted a little bit. Sorry about that.
It happens to the best of us.
Can I add on to the sports part of it that what you guys are talking about?
Sure.
So I've been following this thing with that lady, and she was a Brewers fan. Mm-hmm. And I think her husband was to her left, if I'm not mistaken. But she was with somebody because I think he was also a Brewers fan. So, she said she was going to call ICE. And he responded, that's exactly what he said. He says, I'm a veteran. I served 2 terms. And then he mentioned 2 terms. And I don't remember that part. But then, like you guys were saying, she was fired from both jobs. Well, what I wanted to add was that one job paid $150,000 and the other one $100,000. So she was making $250,000.
That's pretty good, yeah.
And then later on, they interviewed the guy that was kind of needling her. But you know how it is between fans. It's always like that. You needle one friend. But she came back with the big one, which is I'm going to call ICE. They put her name, started with every letter in the alphabet, and long last name she had. I can't remember the name.
I can't pronounce it. It sounds like when you fall down the stairs. It begins with a K. Yeah.
Yeah, you're right. I never heard of that. Yeah. It was long.
It's long.
And then they interviewed him, so they were showing him on camera later on. And the guy didn't look that old, to be honest with you. But so he must have been a current veteran. In other words, the most latest wars, or I don't know if it was 20, 30 years ago, whatever.
Okay.
Anyway, but the point I was trying to make mainly is that they said that they were asking him, a reporter or somebody was asking him, what did you think about the lady losing her job? And he goes, well, I kind of feel bad about that. I don't think it's right that she would lose her job just by making one mistake. So he was, sort of like, yeah, so that's what was amazing.
The power of forgiveness.
Yeah, and what she said was awful to me. It was
horrible.
Awful.
Absolutely.
And I don't know if you're a Brewers fan or a Cubs fan.
I'm a Cubs fan. I'm a Cubs fan, Roosevelt.
Okay. Yeah, that's what I thought. But I felt bad that Dan, left us on the phone because I wanted to say the comeback from the Cubs. Did you see reactions from the Cubs when the Brewers lost that last game?
I did.
The pitcher gave up 3 homers to Ohtani. Okay, But the main part is, if I'm not mistaken, the Cubs had a better record against L.A. than the Brewers had. And some of the fans were kind of ribbing the Brewers fans on the internet because the Brewers fan, as well as you know, that the Cubs lost one more game against the Brewers, which is just one game. And here, in other words, they played a total of 5.
Right.
Both teams, the Cubs played 1-2, and the Brewers won 3. However, when the Brewers played L.A., they didn't win a single game. And the Cubs did play better against L.A. this year than the Brewers did, whether it was in the playoffs or regular season. But the main point was the fact that, the Cubs fans were kind of holding back because they didn't win against the Brewers because of one game.
Right.
But, however, the Brewers fans, when they beat the Cubs up in Milwaukee, they were making flags with the L's. You know what I'm talking about?
Yeah, I saw the flags. And I Roosevelt, from my mouth to God's ears, I hope Dan is still listening.
Yeah, exactly. That was my point. I wanted Dan to be there.
Oh, if he's not listening, I'm going to make sure he gets it. Roosevelt, thank you so much for calling. It's always a pleasure.
Yeah, but then there's one more thing. And also, since Dan mentioned football?
A little bit.
Okay, well, he's always pulling for Green Bay, of course.
Yes.
But if you remember, Green Bay just played Dallas not too long ago, and they wound up in a tie. However, the Bears did beat Dallas, and decisively. So, and then the Bears have won 4 games in a row.
Yes, they have.
Came up, yeah. And so then they're in the thick of it. I mean, they're not out. So Dan is, is saying that is they're a real football team. Yeah, they're a real football team because they just beat not so long ago the Commanders, and the Commanders were a playoff team. And if I'm not mistaken, Dallas has been a pretty good team as of lately. So I don't know. They make all these comparisons. But the point I was trying to make is the fans up in Milwaukee were making flags. They went that far to make elf flags and making fun of the Cubs over one game. That's what I sort of kept up with the social media as far as back and forth with these fans ribbing each other or making fun of each other.
No, I totally get it, Roosevelt. We have to let you go, Roosevelt, but call back tomorrow. Oh, okay. Well, hopefully Roosevelt calls back tomorrow. To our next guest is someone that sorry, I'm a little confused, but I'm not confused. We're going to introduce our next guest after the break. So we're going to take a few minutes, and then we'll be right back with Lisa from Youth Outlook. Don't go anywhere.
You're listening to WCPT 820. Here's the latest Chicago weather update.
I'm meteorologist Ray Miller from the Weatherology Weather Center. Frost advisories and freeze warnings in effect for most of the suburbs tonight. We'll see clear skies, a low temperature of 40 downtown, but much cooler in the suburbs where areas of frost are likely. Winds out of the northwest at 5 to 15. Sunny skies on Friday with high temperatures in the low 50s. Saturday, plenty of sun and highs at the mid-50s. Sunday, cloudy with a high temperature around 59 degrees. That's the latest Chicago weather update. Right now, it's 51.
This is Chicago's Progressive Talk, 820 AM, WCPT Willow Springs, and online at WCPT820.com, where facts matter.
1 in 4 Americans have a disability. I'm one of them. I'm also a working mom who cares deeply about making sure every child with a disability thrives by getting their access needs met. We've got a trusted ally by our side. Easter Seals provides children and families the foundation for lifelong success through early learning programs, skills training, and prep for college and career. That's my Easter Seals. Make it yours. Join us at easterseals.com.
The impact of a meal goes well beyond feeding our bodies, because feeling full can sound like this.
How did the interview go? I did it! I got the job! I can't believe it!
And like this.
Mom, I got first place at the science fair with my volcano project.
That's amazing, sweetie. Congratulations.
Because when people are fed, futures are nourished, and everyone deserves to live a full life. Join the movement to end hunger at feedingamerica.org/act now. Brought to you by Feeding America and the Ad Council.
Some people won't give you the real talk on drugs, but it's time we know the facts. Fentanyl is killing people. It's a powerful opioid, often made illegally and commonly mixed with illicit drugs. It can even be pressed into counterfeit pills that resemble prescription medications. Just 2 milligrams, about the size of a few grains of sand, could potentially be lethal. This isn't an ad to scare you, but it is an ad to make you think twice. Get the facts. Go to realdealonfentanyl.com. This message is brought to you by the Ad Council.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
From city streets to political beats, you're driving it home with Patti Vasquez, where progressive talk fuels the ride.
And we are back driving it home with Patti Vasquez. I am your guest host today, Ken Mejia-Beal with Youth Outlook. I'm treasurer for Youth Outlook. And tomorrow night, we are having an event, and it is our Dare to Dream Gala. And this year, it is Dare to Scream. And I have really our engine, the person that kind of makes sure that we stay on the tracks, Lisa Hilgenberg-Buhle. Did I do okay, Lisa? Yes. And it's funny, and I tell everyone, I was like, Lisa is my friend, and I cannot say her name. I just refer to her as Lisa, like Cher. She only needs one name, and that's as good as it gets.
Written to the point.
Yes. So a little bit, can you tell our listeners a little bit about Youth Outlook, the greatest organization in the world, in my humble opinion, and a little bit about our mission before we get into Dare to Scream?
Absolutely. So Youth Outlook is a LGBTQ youth organization that serves North, West, and Central Illinois. So we've got in-person sessions that happen from Peoria to Sterling out on the Iowa border to DeKalb, and all the way up to the city. We are serving youth and their families, and all of our youth and family programs are offered at no cost so that we aren't creating additional barriers for families and youth who are looking for inclusive spaces and safe spaces, resources, and all of that. So we've been around since the late 90s, so this is year 27 for us.
Yes.
The mission has not changed. We haven't rolled back. We haven't had to back down. That's part of the whole event tomorrow night is really coming together as a community to celebrate. Although it's hard to feel like there's a lot to celebrate right now. What we are celebrating is our kids. Our kids are not staying home. We've seen almost 3,000 youth so far this year, and almost 200 different parents, and they're still showing up. They still need us. They're still looking for us. They still want their community, and so we are gathering tomorrow to raise the funds to continue those services.
Yes, and I am excited to be there. I've had my costume for 2 months. Lisa, can you tell, because we have the portion where we come together, there's going to be a great event. If you are looking for something to do tomorrow night, please go to youth-outlook.org and grab something there. But I want you, Lisa, to talk to our listeners about our silent auction. And that's something that you actually do not have to be there for. Is that correct?
That is correct. So
okay,
we
let's
have
talk
about just over 60 items that are available through the silent auction. You can be in person. You do not have to be in person. So a lot of the items include some vacations that can be purchased from anywhere. There's a lot of city gift certificates for experiences, restaurants, pizza, bars, so many different things. There's some really amazing handcrafted things by local artists that are available. And all of that money goes to supporting the programs. And so it's a great way to participate for people who can't be in person or whose galas are expensive. Yes. Everybody knows that. That's kind of the deal. So, and we recognize that. They're expensive to attend. They're expensive to host. So the silent auction is a great way for people at kind of every level of being able to engage, to participate. We make sure that we have lots in there that are, start out at $20. All the way up to ones that are, over $2,000. But it's important to me to make sure that there is space for everybody at the table to feel like they are participating and included in being able to further the mission.
And so you just gave a range. If I wanted to I want to participate in the auction, what do I need to do? From home.
You can you can find the auction on the website, youth-outlook.org. You can find us on Facebook or on our Instagram. Also, just Youth Outlook. You'll be able to find us there. If you follow Ken, you post Youth Outlook all over the place. And so we're sharing a ton of the groupings of the lots, but any one of those posts will take you to the main page. And on the website, on Facebook, on Instagram, we even did a whole walkthrough of how to use the silent auction if you've never used one before, because they're all a little bit the same and a little bit different. So we try to make it easy for folks who want to get involved and be able to support us and support the local business.
Lisa? Well, it looks like we might have lost Lisa, but we're going to get her back. So what she was mentioning is for the silent auction, we do get some really wonderful things from local businesses, some of our sponsors, and more importantly, we get a lot of really cool items from folks who are out in the world, and they will say, I saw this book, or one of our silent auctions items, we have a person that went to a Chasten Buttigieg book signing and said, I got an autographed book and I want to donate it. So that is something that is there. I think we have Lisa back to continue.
We do.
Yay. Thank you, Lisa. I said, I got this. Don't you worry. Okay.
I think one of the really important things that comes out of all of this, whether it's today or during the auction, between now and the holidays as people are shopping, is to take a look at the places that are donating and to make sure that if you are really wanting to continue to be inclusive and make an ongoing difference, that you are supporting the small businesses and the organizations that are supporting the work that groups like us are doing. So that's another way to really be intentional with where you shop and where you spend your money. And, if it's all the same, go to the places that have the same values that you have. And so that's always a great way too, is, looking at who's donating to the organizations you care about and then making sure that you support them, because they can only donate and support, and so much of that falls on to small businesses. And, we ask those communities to continuously support the nonprofit communities. And it's a really important piece of the circle. And so I think that's another great way for people to really get involved and to really do it at sort of their community, in your own hometown, in your own area, how to help.
Yeah, I 100% agree. And what I really love, just silent auctions in general, it's a way to be a part of it from anywhere. And you get to, I personally never won anything. My auction I have horrible auction history. But it's fun to just participate. And one day I will win something. I'm crossing my fingers right now. Hopefully I might win something tomorrow night. Who knows?
Yeah.
What question for you? And I know this is going to put you on the spot a little bit.
say.
If you could win one of our auction items, which one would you want and why?
Oh,
I know, on the spot.
I know. We've got...
I mean, there's so many wonderful things.
There's so many. I do love to travel, so there is a brand new, super cute London Fog travel bag that fits under the seat now that everybody makes you pay.
Yeah.
And it comes with a $200 Southwest gift card, so it's a really great package, and it is at less than half its value right now.
Wow. Okay.
So I do love to travel. And then I think there's also a lot of wine and a lot of bourbon, which I also love. And then I was going to do things with my family. We have a great package of the escape room called Activate in Oak Brook, and then my own hometown is Brookfield, and so we got great passes from Galloping Ghost Arcade, which is the largest arcade in the world, and it is
that place is
amazing.
So much fun. I played the Michael Jackson Moonwalker game there for the first time a couple of months ago, and I looked up and it was 2 hours later, and I said, "This is not good for my life."
It's a whole experience. Yes. Did you even make it to the pinball location? It's like not in the same building. It's a couple doors down. Because I love some pinball.
Unfortunately,
so I think
I got stuck with Michael Jackson, and then I got stuck with The Simpsons. I just couldn't make it to the
It's very hard.
I was there all day.
Yes. So I think those are, that one's the most local for me. There's so many great theater. Like, I love going to the theater. There's symphony tickets, and Woodstock Opera gave us tickets. So there's really the geographic range is also really, really large. So that's also really exciting for people who are, kind of all over North and Central Illinois. Like the physical locations for many of these places are pretty spread out, which is exciting.
Well, I am excited about our event tomorrow, Dare to Scream. And I look forward to seeing you tomorrow. And I thank you for just talking to us and the listeners about going to youth-outlook.org and signing up for this silent auction. Lisa, have a wonderful evening, and I will be seeing you tomorrow.
Thanks for having me.
Anytime. And guys, we will be right back after this break.
Choose Views with Richard Chew.
With us is my good friend Dana Goldberg.
If you're only fighting for communities you belong to, you're doing it wrong.
Yeah.
Like if you're only standing up for people that you have everything in common with, what are you even doing?
That's right.
Like that's not what our party is. That's not what progressives and Democrats do. We care about people. That's our superpower is empathy.
It is.
And I know sometimes that can get us into some trouble, but I would rather be that than the other.
Richard Chew, weekday mornings at 6 on WCPT 820. WCPT replay.
Let's bring on our good friend Mike Nellis, political strategist.
How you spend your money is a reflection of your values. So, like when the United States government's got money to spend, it's never spending that money to make sure that people have quality and affordable health care. It's never making sure that we can have fewer homeless people on the streets. And we're constantly told America is broke, our debt and our deficit are too high. It's all going to fall apart. But man, when billionaires need another tax cut, or there's foreign governments that I don't agree with that need more missiles to go terrorize people with, when it's ICE needs to 10x their budget so that they can pull people out of Home Depot and send them to a country they're not even from. Man, the Republican Party never stops to go, man, is this a good use of money? Are we being wasteful here? No. They've always got money for that. They've never got money to help anybody else. And again, we can disagree on the margins on how we make sure everybody has health care, how we solve the homeless crisis, how we fix these things and improve people's lives, but they're not even trying to solve it.
Keep listening to WCPT 820 because facts matter.
Kids across America are going to school hungry. Millions of kids every day. But one simple thing can help change all of this for a hungry child in America. Good, healthy food and the energy it brings. With help from caring people across America, No Kid Hungry is providing healthy meals and hope to hungry kids so they can build better futures. To learn more about ending child hunger in America, go to helpnokidhungry.org today.
Because facts matter. You're listening to WCPT 820.
Union Strong Chicago continues to lead the way with progressive values and in preserving democracy. Your support of the Minocqua Brewing Company Super PAC efforts in Wisconsin and beyond strengthens the fight against MAGA Republicans. You can now purchase progressive beers like Labor Lager, Love Wins Fruited Sour, and the Resistance IPA in Chicago at Rogers Park Provisions, Diversity Beer, Wine, and Spirits in Lakeview, Park West Liquor, Wine, and Beer in Lincoln Park, Logan Square Liquors, and Tip Top Food and Liquors in Westtown. Visit MinocquaBrewingCompany.com for all their Chicagoland locations. As always, no matter how bad our sports teams are, please drink responsibly.
From city streets to political beats, you're driving it home with Patti Vasquez, where progressive talk fuels the ride.
Welcome back to the final minutes of Driving It Home. I hope you're in the driveway by now. This is Ken Mejia-Beal, treasurer for Youth Outlook. That is youth-outlook.org. If you were just listening to our last guest, great event tomorrow night. Silent auction. You don't have to be there, so definitely go to youth-outlook.org and check out some of these silent auction events. And speaking of tomorrow, there's going to be a fun day here at Heartland Signal. Tomorrow on Choose Views, Richard Chu's guests are Ev Sheen, author of Choosing to Lead Against the Current, The Courageous Operating System for Changemakers, Karen Byrne, co-host of True Blue Politics podcast, and UIC history professor Kevin Schultz. Choose Views is weekdays 6 to 8 a.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., the Heartland Signal website, TuneIn, YouTube, and Facebook. Then later on tomorrow on Live, Local, and Progressive, Jonas Bazito will be taking your calls for the first half of the show, then talking to Kia Vickel, Deputy Political Editor at Courier. Live, Local, and Progressive weekdays from 2 to 5 p.m. Central on WCPT 820 a.m., heartlandsignal.com, and TuneIn. And then you'll be back here tomorrow to drive it home with Patty, musical comedian Carla Ulbrich, Brock Beneful, host of the Climate Pod, a wide-ranging conversation with leading experts on the politics, economics, activism, culture, science, and social justice issues at the heart of the climate crisis. Montez Solis, Democratic candidate for Congress in the 17th District of Illinois. That's going to be a great listen. I can't wait to hear what he has to say. And Jackie, Patty, and Iggy of Pride Coffee Roasters. Tomorrow's going to be a great day, and I want to encourage you to try to listen to everything, absorb everything, stay hydrated, stay informed, but be sure to take time to soak in some of that collateral beauty. Yes, soak in the collateral beauty. It's all around you all the time. You just have to find it. And if you're free November 20th, I would love to see you at my trivia night at Skeleton Key Brewery. The theme will be movies. I will be in the Blockbuster shirt. Come out, have a great time. Skeleton Key, November 20th. Thank you for listening. No, we have 4 minutes. Lady B just looked at me and she gave me the 4, like, what are you doing, Ken? We're not going anywhere yet. So, I'm getting something else. Yay. I want to thank, there we go. We had some great guests today. Nathan Taylor of Election Truth Alliance. If you have not done so, please go to YouTube and type in Nathan Taylor. I will encourage you not to do that after 8 p.m. though, because like me, you will be up until 1 in the morning going down the rabbit hole of Dieselgate. But if you are interested in Dieselgate, go to YouTube, check out Nathan Taylor. Nathan, thank you for joining. We also want to thank Dan Shafer of the Recombobulation Area. He is from Wisconsin, but he's a great guy because we love Wisconsin. And Lisa from Youth Outlook, who is the energy that keeps us moving. So please go to youth-outlook.org. Please check out the silent auction stuff. And hopefully you guys have better luck than I do because I never win anything. And be sure to listen to as much as you can tomorrow. Call in, be a part of the conversation, because the one thing I always say about democracy and activism is it means nothing if you're not involved. And you might think, how will calling in to tell a story, to share knowledge, to share information, help democracy? Well, I will tell you, everyone doesn't know what you know. And sometimes a caller will call in and share something, and it will totally open my eyes and Patty's eyes and all of our eyes to something that we did not know existed. For example, Nathan Taylor's information today, I did not know half of that before I walked in. And now tonight I know how to, how do we say, be angry. I know how to be angry with purpose. I will be angry with purpose because the numbers are not numbering and the math ain't mathing. So please do yourself a favor. Stay active. Stay involved. I know it's hard. There are days where I just want to shut it all off, but we cannot shut it off because that is what this administration wants us to do. They want to overload us with tearing down the White House East Wing, with the Blackhawks, with the violence in the streets, with the ICE, with the shutdown of the government, which is still a thing. They want to overwhelm us to the point where we tune off. I read an article earlier that said that news sites are getting fewer visits. This makes the administration happy. The reason these websites are getting fewer visits is because we are slowly turning off. That's why we say, don't turn off all the way. Just find ways to keep yourself energized and always look for the collateral beauty. And that's something that on days are very hard to do. I have a beautiful little dog that reminds me every day that there is something beautiful in the world. I don't care if I just look over and look down at her little sleeping face. That is my collateral beauty for the day. And that is enough to get me through some of the worst days. But there's collateral beauty all around you. It's in the face of your kids. It's in the face of kids, period. It is eating a tuna sub with provolone cheese. It is, yep, there you go. It is enjoying a nice beverage of your choosing. It is chewing a nice edible of your choosing, if you get my drift. But there is beauty in every day that you should be absorbing. So as Patty would say, stay hydrated, stay connected, stay active, and please be sure to follow our page on Facebook and Instagram and the Twitter, or it's not called the Twitter anymore, but it's something else. But follow us, be active, and have a great night. Thank you. And our coming up next is Rick Smith. Have a great night.
What's on your to-do list? Check your mail? Get groceries? How about getting your annual vaccines? We can help you check that off.
You've got this.
Yes, you do. Because we've got you. With local vaccine events and access to transportation, protecting yourself and your loved ones is not a chore anymore.
You've got this.
A message from the Aging and Disability Vaccination Collaborative, powered by U.S. Aging. Funded by the U.S. Administration for Community Living through a grant to U.S. Aging. Learn more at yougotthis.usaging.org.
Snakes, zombies, sharks, heights, speaking in public. The list of fears is endless. But while you're clutching your blanket